Alright, and welcome to another video. So this video is probably off the back of a lot of people asking me about when you do your NASDU, what is the dog going to be asked to do in order to get like a team certificate, and I thought I'd just kind of clear up a lot of what the dog will be asked to do and also what you will be required to do. So on the NASDU website you can find some information about this, and I've taken a couple of screenshots and we'll just talk through them, and maybe I'll just explain a little bit more about it, the bits that I know, and hopefully that'll clear up some of your questions. And the first one is for whom suitable. So this program meets the requirements for those learners who have experience as a security officer and wish to become general purpose security dog handlers. It would also be suitable for members of the HM Armed Forces, Police and Prison Service who wish to take on general purpose security dog handler role. The minimum age for vocational training as a security dog handler is 18 years old. So in order to do your NASDU you need to be a minimum of 18 years old. They say here that having security officer experience or being armed forces, police or prison, that gives you, it probably gives you a bigger benefit or more experience in order to come into the role, because you kind of understand what the job is before you get into it. But you can be like me, who, yes, I had experience in security, but that was from an office desk, so I never really had on-site experience or dealing with the public experience, although I had some knowledge. So just because they say that it would be good for them groups of people, it doesn't necessarily say that you can't go from working, I don't know, at a retail store coming into security, being a security dog handler. So there's also the program structure. The program structure is flexible with a mixture of theory and practical tuition, and is made up of 4 units, 3 core units plus 1 pathway unit, all of which are compulsory. So then 4 units. So unit 1, roles and responsibilities of a security dog handler, underpinning knowledge and selection. So underpinning knowledge will be like what's in the handler manuals, etc., things like that. I'm not sure what they mean by selection, whether it means the selection of a security dog handler, whether you fit that selection. I'm not 100% exactly know what that means, but that's unit 1, which is underpinning knowledge and selection. Unit 2, control of a security dog. So that is basic control, emergency stop, speak on command, and steadiness of noise. So if we go through them, so basic control is just like basic obedience. That would be your sits, your downs, your waits or your stays. If you go into the link below, there will be a link to my NASDU commands, and that will be the commands that you will need for your NASDU. So emergency stop, again in the description below there will be my emergency stop video. So that is you being able to stop the dog, whether that's the dog running towards you and being able to stop them and probably down them, but more importantly, which is what the video was about, was stopping the dog from going somewhere. So let's say your dog breaks loose and it runs towards someone, you being able to put the brakes on the dog and stopping the dog from getting to that person and causing them harm. Speak on command, again there's going to be a link to a video down below. Speak on command. So when you are in a standoff, you can ask the dog to speak, and the dog will bark at that person and be looking at that person. It won't be looking at you. The dog will be eyes on the person you're having a standoff with and speaking, which is obviously barking for a dog. And steadiness of noise. So steadiness of noise, you will see when I do standoffs, my dog barks, but it's a steady, continuous bark. My dog doesn't do 2 barks and then stop, and then 2 barks and then stop. It's a constant bark whilst the standoff is going. So that's the steadiness of noise, is that the dog has a steady bark all the way through and he doesn't stop unless you ask him to or the threat goes away. Unit 3 is controlling a general purpose security dog. So that is patrol, internal and external, handler protection, weapon attack arrest, search property or persons, and entry control. So the patrol, which you would have seen lots of my videos, normally they're external, so that is you going out and doing a patrol and possibly finding someone on site. There's obviously internal ones as well, which are a little bit different because you can be walking down hallways with doors either side and you have to learn to get your dog to check every door. Internal is a lot different to external because you have the dog on a short lead, because obviously there's corners, you can't just let the dog go around the corner without you knowing what's around that corner. So let's, for argument's sake, you shout that you're coming in and you have your dog full length of the lead. If your dog walks around that corner and there's an electrician working that didn't hear you, if that dog goes around the corner and bites the electrician because he didn't hear you, therefore it'll be your fault. So you have to have the dog on short lead. So that is, the internal and external is very different. Handler protection, weapon attack and arrest. That will be what you've seen a lot on my sort of protection training, where my trainer will come at me with a weapon and it's about disarming them of the weapon and dealing with that situation. Search of property or persons, so that'll be your things like article search, that article search for property. So that will be that you've dropped your phone or your wallet on site, which you would have seen in some of my videos. You've dropped your phone or your wallet on site and you ask the dog to go and find that, or they'll ask you to look for a person. So there'll be a person on site, and a bit like my patrols, you just have to go out and find that person or get the dog to find that person out on site. And entry control. Now, as far as I would be aware, that would be sort of either entry in and out of the vehicle, but also entry in and out of property. So being able to walk through the door or walk through a gate with the dog without the dog bursting through and dragging you through the doorway or whatever. So being able to do an entry in a controlled manner and where the dog isn't out of control trying to get into a building or possibly in and out of a crate. Unit 4 is well-being and safety of a security dog. So that is your inspection and grooming, so you learning how to inspect and groom your dog. Transportation, which is obviously your vehicle, your cage, things like signs, learning all of that knowledge. And then health and safety assessment, so that will obviously be down to the trainer, whether your health and safety in terms of things like first aid, I would imagine, fire extinguishers, different things like that. So they're the 4 units that will be included in the course. Course duration. Training would be delivered over a number of weeks and would be of significant duration to ensure competency. Having a minimum of 60 guided learning hours. Guided learning hours are recorded hours of direct training given to an individual learner and not the duration of a course. Learners with an untrained dog should expect additional hours of training and harness time with the dog. So with that, you have to do a minimum of 60 guided learning hours. So 60 guided learning hours, when they say there that it's direct training, so let's say that you go to a course for a day and the day is 8 hours, but you have an hour for lunch and maybe a half-hour break. So the hour that you have for lunch and the half-hour you have for a break takes it down to 6.5 hours. Your guided learning hours will only be 6.5. The hour for lunch and the half-hour for a break, they won't be included in your guided learning hours because you're not learning anything. On paper, you're on a break or you're having lunch. So although you may go there for 8 hours, you may only be recorded as 6.5 hours. And it says there about if you have an untrained dog, then expect to do more. Now I think in my how much video, I think I explained that I done obviously my NASDU, I've done my competency of like 60 hours, but in order for me and the dog to pass, I needed to do, I think it was about 120 hours. Because my dog was a pet at the start, I obviously had to do more training sessions in order to get up to the level where me and the dog could get a certificate as a team. So although maybe I could have passed at 60 hours, I needed to do more hours in order to train my dog up to get to the standard that was required. Assessment. Course assessment shall be carried out by an approved NASDU instructor/trainer. The mode of assessment shall be by practical ongoing assessment, by question and answer sessions, and by written examination. So in that, it is a practical ongoing assessment. So this is where once we've maybe done obedience, we'll go back into the hut and we'll have a drink and things like that. But there will be a question and answer kind of session in there where the trainer will be asking the handlers about what year was the Dangerous Dogs Act, or when are you allowed to patrol your dog off lead, or different things like that. So there will be, it's an ongoing question and answer session that will be relative to the end exam of your 40 questions as a security officer and your 40 questions as a dog handler. So that's the final one. So there's 2 different exams, 40 questions of each. One of them is about being a security officer, which is very similar to your SIA exam. Not exactly the same, but similar questions. And then the dog handling side of the exam, 40 questions, which is everything that you'll find in your handler manual. Endpoint assessment regarding the efficient safety and control of a general purpose dog during operational patrol scenario, including pick-up and indication, handler protection, bite and release, shall be observed by an independent sector competent person who does not have an interest in the learner achieving or who has not been involved with the learner's training. So in that, the endpoint assessment, this is more for the dog. So it will be an operational patrol, which will be the ones that you see me, where we go out and do a patrol and the dog has to go and identify and find someone. So that would be a scenario, but maybe they come out and they're aggressive and you have to deal with that scenario. There will be a pick up and indication, so the dog will pick up on a scent and indicate to you that there is been someone on site and he has found them. Handler protection, bite and release, so that will be someone coming in, the dog taking a bite on the sleeve, the dog has to bite the sleeve, and you being able to get the dog to out or release. So whatever word I obviously use out, so I'll say Cooper out, and he'll let go. And it shall be observed by an independent sector competent person. So this will be someone that's not had anything to do with your training, has no personal feeling to whether you foul or you pass. So this just gives makes it independent. So it makes sure that there's no kind of bias to you and the dog or whatever it is. But it could work 2 ways. Maybe the trainer would say, no, I don't think they could pass, and the independent person could say, no, I think that was good enough. So yeah, this will be overlooked by an independent person who has no feelings towards you whether you pass or you foul. Certification. Endorsed certificate from HABC shall be for the handler, lifetime achievement. So if you pass your side of the NASDU, the 40 questions of the 2 exams, or the 80 questions in all, that is a lifetime achievement. That means that you, at the moment, you will no longer have to do your NASDU again, which I find a bit strange, because you could pass this when you're 18, not be a dog handler, and then maybe come back to it when you're 40 and just pick it straight back up again and just get a team certificate, which I find a little bit strange, but that's the way it is at the moment. And the NASDU certificate shall be a team, i.e. handler and dog, 12 monthly. So you know that I qualified as a handler, and then I had my re-team after 12 months. So we got passed in December, I think, of 2020. And then December 2021, me and the dog had to go for a re-team. That's to make sure the dog's still sharp, the dog's still able to do the job, and that will be done by your trainer, and they'll just sign it off and they'll say, yep, this dog and this handler can continue working, they're still up to the standard required to have their NASDU team certificate. So that's what I found on the NASDU website. Now I will put the link down to the page in the description below. I didn't pick everything out. I didn't want to make this a massive long video. So if you want to go down there and see some of the stuff that maybe I left out, I feel like they're the most important parts and probably the key parts to what people ask me a lot. So if you want that, it'll be in the description below. I hope you got the information that you wanted out of this video. If you've got any comments, please put them down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for loads more videos. And as for now, I'll see you again next week. Cheers for watching. See you later.